I don't.
Note the colors.
Blue.
Significant at all?
I feel like I'm missing something major.
Do you know anything about the National Football League?
Actually, you're going to laugh. I don't follow it a huge amount. Is this Charger? Charger?
Uh-oh.
Click OK.
User session or allowed application usage. Never seen that. Who signed in? Okay, Cody is. Let's try it again.
Okay, so click start.
We may have to reboot everything. If we have to reboot it, we have to reboot it. Chargers, bro.
Oh, okay. I got you.
Chargers. You know they're still in it, right?
Yeah, I do know they're still in it.
Still in it.
They play Saturday or Sunday?
That is too, I don't know.
I love that you present it like you're some expert. And
I did not present as I was an expert. I'm an expert in the color schemes of one team.
I understand.
The Chargers, no. So, all right, let's just jump right in.
Okay.
Is the real estate crash forming right before our eyes?
No. Segment over?
Is that it?
The market is changing. The market is shifting. The market isn't crashing. And there's a difference, and there's some economic reasons why it is not a crash.
Okay. Let's first define then what's the difference between a crash and a correction.
Oh, that's a good question. That's a well, I think there actually is an actual
What
term.
rope would you like to hang yourself with, sir?
I think there is an actual, a real term and a difference between a recession and a depression, and there's a difference between.
True.
And it has to do with a percentage drop.
Mm-hmm.
Here's where you and I disagree, is that I would say, in your opinion, you believe that in 2019 there will be depreciation, that the values will go down, correct?
San Diego, yes.
In San Diego,
Yes.
yes. And where me and all of the other intelligent, economists and people that follow it are saying 2019 is
Economists, I call them bow tie guys. Because they always look at the past and try to predict the future.
I agree and we've talked about that's really what's interesting about a lot of these financial guys, is that they're looking for trends when the market is changing beneath our feet, and they're trying to say, well, it's part of something, and look in the past. However, that said, I think what is happening currently, where we have felt these interest rate hikes, and now all of a sudden the Fed's going, hey, I know we said we were going to do 4, but now we're only going to do 2. And, I know we said we were going to do 2, but now we're going to look at it. I think that is bringing confidence back to the market as a whole, where people are going, okay, at least these guys aren't putting their head down and, hey, we got to stay the course. We're going to go this route. We're going to do that no matter what.
They are going to do it no matter what. That's a fact. I guarantee it. They have too much on the line. There's no way they'll ever unwind all that mortgage-backed securities paper if they don't do it now. If the economy is as good as they claim it to be, and as the numbers say it is, then you're never going to find a better time to do it. Now, the interesting thing is, and we're talking specifically about real estate crash, but let's take step 1. What's going to happen in 2019 and 2020? So instead of it being for me, I'll say Barry Habib. You know who Barry Habib is? Okay, Barry Habib says recession 2020. Mm-hmm. And he's definitely the smartest guy that I know who's actually in the game. So he's connected to the mortgage industry and is also a part of the real estate industry. He has MBS Highway is his brand. I'm going to have him on this show to explain. I already have started setting it up. I talked to him this week. And he's going to explain why recession in 2020.
And I would say there's a lot of people that would agree with him that 2020 is the year where we see significant change. Significant being we go from positive to negative.
Okay. And Barry and I may even disagree on this as well, and I'll
You mean Barry and I would
I'll
agree?
shred him up just like I'm shredding you right now, if that's the case. But here's the thing. If there is a recession in 2020, and you're right, Barry's not the only person who said this. A lot of people are saying 2020 looks like the year where it kind of falls apart. You know, the momentum is gone, and things start to go the other direction, let's say.
And,
now, hold on.
And I will jump in after.
Hold on, you
all
will
right.
not jump in.
You will not.
You will not jump in. So if that's the case, and I'm even putting the if in there, then what is 2019? If 2020 is recession, then what's 2019?
The year before a recession? Is this a trick question?
No. There has to be a period of unknown, of randomness, of jaggedness. Look at what's happening in the stock market right now. Does anyone have any flippant idea what's going to happen in the stock market?
There's
day
a
after
lot
day?
of volatility within the stock market.
Correct. Now, what does that look? Okay, so and that I'm telling you, stock market's going to go down. So that's what it looks like in the stock market. You have big up days, big down days. Oh my gosh, everything's great again. Oh my God, everything's bad again. We saw the two scariest things that I saw in the past 2 weeks have been days where the stock market is down significantly, even let's say the last 3 weeks. The stock market's down significantly and mortgage bonds are also down. That's capitulation. That's not normal market movement. That's not, oh, well, we're taking our money from stocks and we're going over to bonds. We're getting out of the market altogether. That's exodus. And this is exactly what happened before the last crash. And it's easy to brush it off. It's easy to say it's just a fluke. It's easy to say, no, it's a red flag. And when the stock market starts doing this craziness and the volatility index kicks up like it is right now, and it has now for the second time, gotten to 30 on the VIX, that is the big, huge red flag saying, hey guys, something big's coming. There's an iceberg in front of the Titanic, y'all. That's what it's saying. Now, in my opinion, I believe that to be factual. On the real estate side, in my opinion, that is what 2019 is going to be. It is going to be where we've seen comp bombs, volatility. Here's a huge comp bomb over here. Here's another one over here. Here's a backdoor deal over there. There was one sold in Del Cerro recently for like at least $100,000 undervalue, like ridiculous. There's still people paying too much too, because guess what? Buyers are like the last people to know what the hell is going on with the market.
Why would you say that?
Buyers?
Buyers are the last people to know.
The buyers are the last people to know when there's a shift in the market because typically they are not plugged in to what is happening. So like especially
What do you mean they're not plugged into what's happening?
new buyers.
New buyers, yes.
Not
that
people
are-
who've been looking for 2 years.
Okay.
New buyers.
New buyers that are going. So you're saying because they go out one weekend, they see 5 houses and they write an offer based on what they're comparing
Correct.
those 5 houses.
Correct.
And they're not doing their homework in terms of comps and those kinds of things.
Their mindset
and
coming into it
is 30 days back or something.
further. There's still a lot of people who, and I'm talking to them on a regular basis right now, these buyers still think it's 2 years ago. They still think it's a frenzy crazy. They just don't know how they're even going to get into a house. And yeah, they'll start to figure it out if they start writing offers. But if their mindset is that going into it, and they go out and start looking at properties and think they have to grab one, right? Because they haven't figured it out. And when I say they, I mean as a whole. As a whole, buyers will find out last. Sellers find out quick because they're in the game. Like as soon as you're on the market, you're in the game. You start accumulating data. Mm-hmm. You're accumulating how many showings are we getting, how many offers are we getting. You're starting to accumulate stuff that tells you what the hell is going on. But when you're a buyer, you're just looking at shit. Like you're not necessarily getting any feedback from anyone. You're just looking at shit. As far as you know, there could be 30 people who would have beat you out even if you had put in an offer on that place. So they have a mindset of how things were a year or two ago, and they're coming into and I'm seeing them do it. They're still buyers overpaying because they're either their agent also is unaware, or would just rather not talk about it, or whatever. But they're overpaying.
Or I would say there is a demographic of buyer who, for whatever reason, hey, my family has been relocated, I started a job a week ago, I just want a house and I'm willing to overpay slightly because it's my primary residence and I'm going to be here for a long time.
Sure, there's also that.
Right.
But my point is that is the volatility that sets up something ugly. And we're all agreeing that something ugly is 2020, right? Did you also agree with that?
Well, ugly being that we go from positive appreciation to negative depreciation. You're setting this up, in my opinion, as like things are falling apart and all of a sudden we're in some major depression. I don't foresee that.
Did I say depression?
No, but you did use, roll the tape back. He uses the term like things falling apart. That's what you said. You said things fall apart. To me, things fall apart isn't, well, we're depreciating by 2%.
Well, Steve, let me explain to you how you might step this way a little bit in your understanding. If you just bought a house this year and you lose 5% value, and then you need to sell your house next year, how upside down are you? A lot, right?
To which I would say, if you bought a house last year and you sell your house this year and the value is the same, you still lose money.
That's what I'm saying.
Because of commissions and closing costs, et cetera.
Absolutely.
Right.
Your home needs to go up in value about 10% in order for you to break even when you sell your house, in most cases. So
that's a big number. I would say
it's correct.
I would say closer to like 7%.
No. Cost of sale is going to be around 8%.
Why is cost of sale going to be around 8%? Closing costs typically for a seller are around 1%. Commissions are negotiable, 6%. I'm doing some, help me with the math. 6 plus 1?
You're not going to get any help in here.
10.
Okay? So, but you've got to scale it up because the math doesn't work. Percentages don't work on the same basis. So, for example, if you take 500,000, right, and you say, okay, well, I need it to go up 10% so that I can cover the cost. Well, you go up 10%, but then now you're taking your 7% or your 8% or whatever the cost of sale is off of the bigger number, right? Or if the value goes down, then it'll be a smaller number. So it's hard. It's hard to. The math gets weird. Trust me. I'm a math guy.
I'm still right. Got it.
Whatever. I'm closer to being right than you are. So
absurd.
here's the thing. No, it's true. This is also true. This is also true. So, what this year is, in my opinion, then is that year where you start to see those things sort of get out of whack a little bit. Now, when I say things like, things are going to get bad, or it could be a bad situation, it's because I'm continually hearing people say the wrong things. Like, yeah, I'm going to buy this house, and then 2 years later, I'm going to sell it and get a bigger one, or just stuff like that.
All right, so there we agree. If someone is saying, I'm going to buy this house, and in 2 years, I'm going to flip this house by living in it, this is my first time doing it, I agree with you, it's a bad idea. And when the thing comes back, when the thing comes back around and we discuss why it is a good idea to purchase now, and because I believe there is still appreciation that's built into 2019, and yes, there will be some uncertainty, some change within 2020, but nothing that's people's homes are not going to drop 10, 20%. I don't foresee that happening. Now, I sent you, and I'm already stealing the microphone back away from you before I'm letting you finish. This is genius. This is the greatest thing I've ever done. I sent you an article like 30 seconds before we started this discussion that was from the California Association of Realtors. And one of the things that they did in there is they interviewed many homeowners and asked, is 2019 a good time to buy a house? And like 70% of people said no. So the population is uncertain about what's happening in this time.
Well, it's a depreciation or a deceleration of demand.
Right.
Because it can only, demand can only be so strong for so long until you run out of people who have that kind of, thank you.
That was a good ride.
That kind of vigor to purchase a home. It takes a tremendous amount of people in order to do that. Where I'm not even going to get into the differences in the different states or the exodus of California or any of that stuff. I do think that the value proposition in San Diego is better than I even thought it was. So I'm higher on San Diego than I have been in recent history, because I've looked around the country and they've lost their damn minds in a whole bunch of places. No, I'm serious. A whole bunch of places people have lost their freaking minds.
Yeah.
What they're paying for real estate in like Iowa and shit like that, where it's like $475,000 for this house in the middle of fucking nowhere. What are you people doing? We have the beach and like cool shit here. No, seriously.
This is censored, right? We got
this is the internet. We can say whatever the hell we want. So I've been looking. I really have. I've been looking hard. I've been looking all over the place. I've been looking in South Carolina, Virginia, Ohio, Missouri, even Arkansas, Iowa, Montana, Arizona, Idaho. I've been looking all over the place.
It's
Texas.
expensive. Yes, it's not. There used to be
Shocking.
You would think, well, I'm moving out of San Diego. I'm going to sell my house at $650,000, and you know what? I'm going to buy a house that's twice as big for $250,000. And then you look at the prices.
It doesn't exist anymore.
It doesn't exist. It's $750,000 in Boise, and that's a real number.
And that is real in Boise. That's what it is. And you know, we had some people on Win This Listing maybe last year or the year before, I can't remember, but you know, they were moving to Arizona. And they sold their $650,000 house in Alpine, which was on 2 acres, horse property, was gorgeous, pool, views, to go to Arizona for a $650,000 house. That was their retirement deal. And so I've been seeing this sort of happening, but I had no idea how bad it was. The value proposition here is gaining the more of that goes on. Now, there's other taxes and things that are here that piss people off. I've talked to some sellers recently who, you know, they looked here and were like, wow, that's a way better deal. Then they came here and they're like, wait a minute, I have to pay for this and this and this and this. So there's other things. But if you just look price, just look real estate, the value proposition here is better than I thought it was. So I will say that. Coming back, what we've seen here is we've seen a situation where sellers have ruled the roost for a very long time. The buyer demand has allowed that to happen.
Right.
It just simply cannot continue. And we, I believe, have reached the precipice. So what happens now is what? We have maybe a year of sideways. I mean, what is our bet for this year?
Well, so we did,
Oceanside?
we did Oceanside, and it's been a couple of months, and there was Rob Cunningham, there was some viewer who also said, hey, I want in.
That's my boy.
And I think it was 3 or 4 months ago, Oceanside, year over year, from 4 months ago, which would now be what, September, something like that, to September 2019, to see a median household price of like a 3.2. Where are we at? Mm-hmm. And I stand by my bet, which is the values will be
higher,
at or higher. Yes. Now, I mean, it's not going to be exactly the same. But
I'd like to you're trying to claim that, though.
No. I'm not trying to claim that it's because
no. I said greater than or equal to.
Or equal to. Here's why I think. Here's why I think it's a great time to buy. Here's where I disagree with 2/3 of the people that the California Association of Realtors polled. Is they talk about that by 2025 they expect California to be a majority renter state. That the majority of people in this state who are eligible and of age to purchase will rent. So what that means is there is great opportunity in investing in real estate, in my opinion.
In California?
In California.
Really?
Yes.
That's our next segment.
That's our next segment.
I'm going to chop you into tiny pieces on that.
We will throw some big blows.
I am going to carve you up on that. I'll give you a little taste of it right now. What's headed for California, the future of California is rent control everywhere. It's lots of renters and rent control. That's what's headed for the future of California real estate. No doubt about it. They keep putting it on the ballot. They're going to keep putting it on the ballot till it passes. That's the bullshit about the politics that are involved with this, is that they just, if you don't like it this year, well, guess what? It's coming again next year. You know, and if it's something that you like or something that you're for, it's great. For all the people who were disappointed the first time that weed wasn't legal, you know, the first time we voted on it, remember that? And then they came back like immediately the next one and it went through. So it's like, that's one of the ways that, you know, policies are shaped. It's like, well, if we can just get it on the ballot, just keep getting it on the ballot. then you force the opposition to run these campaigns consistently. You just drain them of funds trying to fight the thing. Eventually, you run them out. And that's exactly what's going to happen with rent control. Rent control is going to be a serious deal. It's definitely going to happen in San Diego. It's definitely going to happen in other places
There's
in California
such
as well.
huge lobbyists against it.
I know.
Namely, the biggest one, the California Association of Realtors, the National Association of Realtors. There's a lot of money there that's going to fight it.
They will run out of it because what they will realize is that people will still buy and sell those homes regardless if there's rent control or not. It may control the prices, but there's still going to be transactions. It's not going to hurt them.
It is going to hurt. Absolutely, it's going to hurt. I mean,
Not the associations.
I agree that there will continue to be transactions, but in the same way that if they change the interest deduction, which they have, and other things, if we take away either the shelter or the financial benefits of owning real estate, pretty soon people are going to go, I'm going to look at the numbers
That's
and go,
investment real estate. That's investment real estate. Remember, only millionaires own investment properties, didn't you know? So those people are just, too bad. You're rich. You have investment property, you can handle it. You can take the ding. You know what I mean? This is the mentality. This is what's happening. Now, so that was just a little taste. You're going to get more of that later. Right now, what we're talking about is what's happening in 2019. And I think what you're going to see is you're going to see volatility, uncertainness, lack of trend. You're going to see randomness. We've seen some random comp bombs and stuff like that. You're going to see like, oh, well, that area over there did great this year. This area over here got smoked. What the hell happened? You're going to start to see pockets of bad, really bad stuff. And you're going to see areas where it's like, didn't skip a beat. What's up? You know, we're killing it over here. And that's what you're going to start to see. So it's going to get wonky, unpredictable, just like the stock market is right now. I think we are right now I think 2019 is the 2006.
okay, so what are you advising? If you're a seller, put it on the market today, get out of it?
I advised that 2 years ago.
Yep, well, I know, but nobody listened to you 2 years ago, so it's today.
A few people did.
A few people did.
They're all laughing with their umbrella drinks right now.
So it sounds like you're not saying it's a good time to jump into the market and purchase, correct?
No, I think there's opportunities to purchase like left and right.
Because what you're telling me is if it's fragmented, if there's areas where it's great and there's areas where it's terrible and they're getting smoked, arguably it's hard to figure out. I mean, it's kind of like the stock market where you could make an argument. There's some great opportunities. You buy on one of the days where it drops significantly, and you jump in. Maybe the next day it bounces back. There's also the opportunity to get really burned.
True. No, what I'm saying is, yeah, it's case by case for sure.
Right, of course.
There's going to be opportunity because wherever there's turmoil, uncertainty, there's usually, if you're a buyer, then there's usually a seller in need, and we keep seeing that. You know, we keep seeing it. I mean, we see it on Listed Live. We see it. I see what agents I talk to have listings where they're like, if I had an offer, I think I could probably get the sellers to go. They are ready to be done with this thing.
And I would say it's that way in every market. Now, granted, that's a sweeping statement, but there are still sellers.
Oh yeah, that's a sweeper.
There are sellers in every single market that feel like, you know what, speed is more important than money. And I just want to make this move. I want to 1031 and do these 2 transactions and move on. Hey, I've never lived in this property. This was my mom's property. She lived there for 30 years. Let's clean it and be done with it. Probate, divorce. I just want out. I want to buy my freedom. There are always those types of sales. I don't foresee with what else is happening in as big an economic market in terms of job stability, unemployment at its all-time lows, et cetera. I agree that the stock market is volatile. I just don't see situations where whole neighborhoods are selling at discounts because, well, that's the way it is. I agree with you on comp bumps. I agree with you that we're seeing, but as we've talked about, one sale doesn't make a market.
It doesn't, but you need the first domino.
Yes.
If you're going to take a leg down,
yes,
the first step is a comp bomb.
right. And then you need, from the comp bomb, this is my scatter chart with the comp bomb down here, then you need trending sales down there.
What helps perpetuate that trend is the first one.
We're not disagreeing that you need a low sale. I'm
Yes.
just saying you need a bunch of low
So
sales.
we cannot ignore that, not after a run like this. I just want to get to a comment here from Gregory. He says,
He's talking about your
just missed
attire.
that
I
yellow
agree. It's
jacket
too
out
bright
in
for me.
2020 and all will be fine. Cool, no problem. The yellow jacket will definitely be here in 2020. It ain't going nowhere. So I guess to summarize how I just smeared you all over the place. So, no, you're right. Redfin and Carr, I believe, both are saying appreciation.
2 to 3%. Now these are, and again,
And they're always
economists
right.
Are opinions. That's what I'm going to say. They're opinions, and where we agree is, and what I like what you said is that a lot of financial analysts, a lot of economists, they look backwards. And really, in this kind of market, what we need to do is we need to look today. My opinion, if you're a buyer, you need to look at not sales from 3 months ago in terms of determining a value. You need to look at what is happening in the market today. Same thing as a seller. If you say, hey, you know what, November and December tend to slow down, so I want to pull, there was a model match of my house that sold in September. You're doing yourself a disservice. You need to look at what's happening today. But for next time, I'll sharpen my knives. There is great opportunity as we get more and more renters in our state of home ownership not depreciating, but diminishing, I guess is the word that I'm looking for. And these people still need to live somewhere. And until Derek foresees the rent control looming, I don't foresee
I'm going to call you one day when the rent control passes.
I'm going to be...
And it's going to be fun.
I'm going to be sipping one of those drinks with the umbrellas because
you already sold, because you listened to me. Awesome. So here's the other thing too, and this is the problem with economists. And nothing against the Redfin economists or the Carr economists in particular, other than the fact that most of these people aren't in the market, aren't talking to people who are in the market. For the most part, they're looking at data and trying to analyze trends and figure out where that line is pointing next. Also, unfortunately, because of where the data comes from, every economist is employed by somebody. They all are. So whether it's Carr or Redfin, so there's some sort of politics involved.
You feel like it's in their best interest to say...
To be optimistic.
Hey, don't worry, everything's okay.
Absolutely. Do you think that Carr has the California Association of Realtors has any skin in the game of the sentiment for real estate in the state of California?
Absolutely.
Abso-freaking-lutely they do.
Right.
So if they tell you 2 to 3% appreciation, what do you think that really means?
I think it really means 2 to 3% appreciation.
I think it really means we think this thing is effed, but we can't say anything lower. The lowest thing we can say is 2 to 3% appreciation.
So we're in agreement that eventually this market is going to shift, and those years when the market is down, they're going to say, well, unfortunately, our chief economist was unavailable for comment. We will not be sending out.
No, once you get into it and it's there, then it's a different deal. But when you're leading into it, no one wants to be the cause. No one wants to perpetuate it. That's also part of what catches everyone by surprise. It's part of what causes the pain that I'm talking about is this sort of lack of willingness to look at this thing objectively and go, hey guys, what if we have a flat year? What if we're down 5%? Can we agree that might actually be a good thing? It could be a good thing, right?
Absolutely. An equilibrium market, I think it's a great thing.
So why can't we just look at it and go, guys, we could have a flat market, But that's what they're doing. But the way they say flat market is 2 to 3% appreciation. It's such garbage. It's garbage.
Well, you know what? Next time I'm going to call in a California Association of Realtors representative. She's going to sit in this
please?
chair.
Will you pretty please?
And
I'm going to get Barry Habib on the phone. And between me and Barry, there won't be anything left of that person.
It's going to be a Royal Rumble. That's what we're going to do. Me and Carr. Tag me in. Tag me in.
It will be the Royal Rumble.
Tag me in.
So, anyhow, I win again. But no, seriously, On a serious note, we have to be honest with ourselves. This is super important.
I love that you say that. I'm being honest with myself, Derek.
We have to be honest with ourselves.
2019 is appreciating.
And all right, I'm glad we already bet on it. There's nothing else for me to say. I already got my money in the ring. I made another much bigger bet.
Wow.
On camera too, for 2019.
Did you? I missed it.
$2,000.
Wow.
Yeah, John LeMattery. 2 G's. I want crisp $100 bills. Crisp. Brand new ones. Okay, Johnny? Don't forget, crisp hundies. That's what I want. So we just made the bet on 2019.
He
And
says?
He says appreciation. I say depreciation.
You know what you should do? I mean, I'm no expert here, but you should hedge a little bit. Like you should bet some of the agents that it's going to appreciate and then some of the other ones, the depreciation. That way you don't have all your eggs in one basket because there's a lot of voices that are saying appreciation.
I know. And these voices will be wrong. And that is what is so great about not being wrong. You get to take money from people very easily. Now, I'm not being a super negative Nancy here. That's what you want to paint me as right now, as this doomsday. Derek said depression. Did
Derek
you see?
said
Derek said
things
depression.
fall apart.
Things
That's
are going
what
to fall apart, and it's a depression. No, that's not what I mean. But it is a depression for certain families. You know, even if you lose 5%. Man.
Absolutely. And there are always situations that are bad situations in real estate, in any market.
No doubt. But that's who I feel. That's where the pain comes from me. And that's why you may feel it amplified a little bit when I talk about it, is because I know those people are going to have pain. And that's what hurts, you know, just knowing that that's coming. Even if it is only 5%, which I think we could both agree would be good and healthy.
For the market overall, yes.
You would be like, yes, Derek, you were right. But the 5% depreciation we experienced in 2019 is actually really good for the market, right? That's what this is you in January 2020. This is what you're saying. I'm quoting you right now. And we would both be like, yeah, no, you're right. It was good. 5% depreciation.
So in 2020, are all our conversations, we're just going to agree on everything? Well, I guess you'll have already paid me my $100.
No, I'll have
Johnny,
your money.
You'll have paid $2,000. Boy, then we're going to have to figure some things out. I don't know if you're going to be able to afford that yellow suit.
I'll skip town if I lose.
Skip town.
I'm not paying anyone anything. I'll just leave. No, a lot of people are leaving. That is another thing.
And take a look at that, the California Association of Realtors market update. They talk about the exodus from California. 29%, I believe, and I can post it or we can post it. 29% of, I want to get the numbers right. It's in terms of the number down, in terms of exodus versus incoming people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a significant issue.
Yeah,
no doubt about it. We have tax issues, we have some other things, but the question is: the crash forming right before our eyes?
Obviously not.
All right, fine. I'll say that technically, the crash is not forming right before our eyes. But what is happening is flares are being shot in the air. Flares are going off.
I agree. There are some signs of a market change. Yes, we're in agreement there. Look at that.
I win again. All right, we can close it up. Steve Ploetz, ladies and gentlemen, who has not been properly wallet shamed today. I'm going to give him the skip on it because he agreed with me in the end. And it's my studio, and I win. So that's it. Share this. Make your friends smarter than everyone else. See you next time.